Hi team, I'd like to start with going over two of the questions from yesterday's quiz. The two most missed questions were question number 2 and 4. So we'll take a look at those, and what you could do is you could retake it, and if you retake it, it will keep all of your correct answers. So let's see. Number 2, let me hit the show your work button. We have to simplify the radical 7 times the square root of 175. Oh wait, sorry. I'm going to do it two different ways so that you could see both. The first way is known as the factor tree. But you do want to be careful. There's already a 7 outside, so keep that in mind. Let's do the factor tree. 175 is the same as 7 times 25. 7 is prime, so we can't break that down, but 25 breaks down into 5 times 5. 5 is prime, so we can't break that down either. That's a pair, and that's a single. So remember, the rule is that pairs come out, singles stay in. Why do pairs come out? Because the square root of 25 is 5. So remember, that's what we're doing. We're taking a square root, so we just need to take one of those pairs out. All right, so let's do that. So we've got a pair of 5s that are coming out. Well, I'm sorry, you should start at the beginning. You've got a 7. There you go. Got a 7 already here as the coefficient, so make sure you keep that. Then we have a pair of 5s, and I'm going to pull those out of the radical as just a single 5. And then we have a 7 that stays under the radical. Anything in green was a pair, it comes out as a single, and anything in red was a single, it has to stay inside as a single. And now you just multiply these two together and you get 35 square root of 7. I did notice that a lot of people are kind of just struggling with how disorganized that kind of looks. You might want to switch to going with this method. This method is you break 175 down into just two numbers. The first number has to be the largest perfect square that goes into 175. So if I think about perfect squares, I've got 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, and it can't possibly be anything more than half of that number, because the lowest that this could be is something times 2. So, I'm going to stop at 100. Then you just keep asking yourself, does 100 go into 175 and give me a whole number answer? And I would say no, so I'm actually crossing that one out. 81, if you need to use a calculator, you can, does not go into 175. 64 is not a factor of 175. 49 is not a factor. 36 is not a factor. But the highest one that is a factor is 25. And coincidentally, that's the number we picked over here too, on the left side. But what you could do then is put 25 times 7, because 175 divided by 25 is 7. So we're rewriting 175 as 25 times 7. And then just slash this one out and write its square root right next to it. So if you're able to take the square root of it, it comes out. Now I can't take the square root of 7 because it's a decimal, so I'm going to leave it. And now we multiply these together, and we get this. This is actually the way that I do it. This method on the left is called factor tree method. The factor tree method works if you don't know your perfect squares and are not willing to take the time to divide 175 by each of these numbers until you figure out which one goes in. So if you would like to start trying this method, what I strongly suggest you do is write all the perfect squares at the top of your paper. And when do you stop your list? I would stop when you get to half of the size of that number. So, I mean, 175 divided by 2 is, what is 175 divided by 2? 87.5. But I stopped at 100 because I just estimated. I was like, okay, 175 is close to 200. 200 divided by 2 is 100. I can stop there. All right. So that is problem 2. And now we will look at problem 4. Okay, here we go. Problem 4. Problem 4 is asking us to simplify. Now the rule for simplifying is that the radicals have to be the same. They are currently not the same. You might think, oh no, that means they can't be simplified. But that's not true. You can attempt to break one of them down, or both of them down, to see if they will then have the same radical, thus simplify. So first thing you might do is try to break down 2 times 3, or 6, you might try to break that down. Here's the problem with trying to break that one down. There are no pairs, there are just singles. If there are just singles, you go back to the original, 2 times 3 is 6. So I don't know if we saw that or not yesterday, but sometimes they cannot be broken down. That's what it looks like when they can't be broken down. You are left with just singles. And if that's the case, you go back to the original. Let's do this one. 54 I know is the same as 9 times 6. And 9 is the same as 3 times 3. I have a pair of 3s, those are going to come out. I have a single 6, that's going to stay in. Be careful though, there's already a 3 out here, so we first must bring that one down. Then I'm going to take out a 3 to represent the pair of 3s. Then I'm going to leave a 6 on the inside. I multiplied 3 times 3 to get 9. And then this is where some students get confused. This is the same as saying like 2x plus 9x. If you combine those, you get 11x. What do you actually add? You add the coefficients only. You do not add the numbers underneath the radical. So, I know that's not what the problem was, but I know you are familiar with combining x's. So we're just going to combine the 2 and the 9. That gives us 11. And then we still have a square root of 6. It's almost like you're saying, how many of these square roots of 6 do I have? I have 2. How many square roots of 6 do I have over here? I have 9. How many do I have altogether? Well, 2 plus 9 is 11. What were we talking about? We were talking about the square root of 6. Okay, if you would like, what you would do now is, now that you've seen those two problems, once you get to this part where it says submit, I know that I didn't put any answers, so I'm going to go ahead and submit those, see what happens. So it's going to tell me I got a 0, okay, but there's a button over here that says retake. So if you click that button and you retake it, it says you have 1 remaining. It will keep all the answers you got correct the first time around, and you can retake just the ones that you got wrong and try to fix them. Okay, I hope that helps you guys on that quiz.